Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Respecting the Beer. My name is Gary Arndt. With me, as usual, is brewer extraordinaire Bobby Fleshman.
Hey, Gary.
Are you enjoying the afternoon? We are live at Lagerfest.
Yeah, this is number 4 podcast out of 5
We're
today.
getting them all done today, doing a whole series of a lot of the brew. I mean, we got all these brewers here, so
Oh, yeah.
it
They're
only
captive.
makes sense.
No excuse.
With us now is Ben Schreiner
Yes, sir.
from the Mosinee Brewing Company,
Yep.
Central Wisconsin.
Yep. That's what I've been telling everybody. If they don't know where Mosinee is, we're halfway
It's-
between Wausau and Stevens Point.
It's
yeah.
pretty central, I mean,
Right.
as it goes.
Right.
When we have a lot of brewers on the show, we always start with, how did you get into brewing?
Well, we should have brought my wife in to tell that story. So my son is 19. 20 years ago, I started with the homebrew kit. And really fell in love with it. So I kind of geeked out in a lot of reading, a lot of studying, and what Mosinee started. I started brewing there in 2019 when we started. So in between there, I just geeked out on everything I could consume with my brain, and I brewed for they're closed now, but McZee's in Rosholt. She wanted somebody to brew for her, so I was brewing there very casually. I started brewing with Mosinee when our first beers. I was there. The kind of one of our flagships, Flash Over Red, and I had an engineering job, and by June I went full time there in 2019.
Your story is so similar to what so many people we've had on the show. Background in science engineering,
Yeah.
home brewing. So you launched the brewery in 2019?
Right, yeah. The owner, Lynn Kearns, so we opened in 18, November of 18. We didn't get our license till March of 19.
But that's very similar to McFleshman's,
Right,
which turned
right.
out to be one of the worst times ever to open a brewery.
Surprise.
How did you guys get through that period?
We were really, really new. We kind of did a strategy of let's try to get our beer to people. We were still pretty new. We brought in, we hadn't done any packaging up to that point. We started canning some of our beer. One of the bartenders was willing to do open for to-go orders, so we had online ordering. You could order and come in, and we had the whole plexiglass order behind that and fill that. So yeah, that was a strategy. I don't know if COVID wouldn't have started, if we would have jumped into canning that soon. But that's what kind of pushed us into that and kind of got us through.
You might have mentioned this. What's the population, Mosinee? I mean, you might have mentioned the size.
Yeah, I don't know offhand. I think it's like 8,000.
Okay, so you are the hometown brewery.
Yeah, we're Mosinee's original brewery. Yeah, exactly.
And it seems like it. And I was looking you guys up on Facebook because I'm that old, and that's my only social media that I look at. And you have a lot of likes. You have a lot of followers. It's more than 8,000. So you must be drawing from a pretty good distance.
Well, that's why. That's one of the reasons Lynn kind of picked that location, because we're halfway between Wausau and Point, so it draws from the two larger areas. So yeah, that's we have a lot of local Mosinee followers, but we have a lot of people come in from all over, and we're up that I-39 corridor, so we do have a lot of people stop in on their way up to Minocqua, Northwoods. So
yeah. And if you had your preference, you would be a package brewery, or you would be only a taproom model. I understand that COVID and the pandemic played into where you are today.
Right. I mean, we're set up more as a package brewery with a tap house because we have a very good food trailer, but that's not. Once the winter turns cold, you can't have that. It's not that, it's just a basic trailer. You talk to everybody. It's always nice for people to come in and have food with with your beer, but that's not necessarily the answer either. I mean, that's a whole different business to run that. So, we've managed a local pizza place started selling frozen pizzas, so we serve those guys, and we have like you guys, they have the popcorn and pretzels, and we started serving the big Bavarian pretzels. So, we have some things to eat, but
you guys literally have the closest story to McFleshman's that I've heard of anyone else.
Yeah.
In terms of when you got started.
Yeah.
Like the food thing and everything else, it's shockingly similar.
It is. I mean, we have more people in this town and more breweries, but otherwise it's very, very similar. And it sounds like you have a slant toward traditional styles by and large.
I always have. That was back from Homebrew days. That's what the guys knew when we were doing different styles. If it was German style, that I'd probably I honed in on stuff like that. But we've done just about every style. Our most award-winning style is our Pineapple Comet Milkshake IPA, which is about as far from traditional. Yeah. Even non-traditional people like to hate on that type of style.
Yeah,
there was a lot of words in that had nothing to do with traditional beer.
But also imagine my surprise face, because that's what the market wants. It loves that stuff. I think those weird beers need to be sprinkled in.
Well, that's one of our small distributors. That's what he likes getting, is that beer, because of all the beers on the shelves. So that's something different. Not every brewery has a blonde lager or amber, Irish ale, and it's kind of odd the ordinary.
So this is perfect segue. Ben and I apparently met 4 craft brewers conventions ago.
Right.
And I do remember the moment. I didn't remember you were from Wisconsin, I don't think, at the time. But in any case, we were at a side panel listening to a Czech brewer talk about Czech brewing. And apparently, we were talking about this before we did this recording.
Right.
What did I say? What was it?
Well, they, the Czech Republic or Chechnya or whatever, they always brag that per capita they drink the most beer, and I don't know if you stood up or if you raised your hand or you had said, have you checked that against just the state of Wisconsin?
Okay, yeah, I think if it were a country, they would be neck and neck. Yeah,
right. I mean,
I think I followed it with an actual brewing question, but I did lead with that throwdown. I remember that now.
Well, right. Yeah, it was. I mean, that's the part I remember.
That is literally a hold my beer type moment.
It literally.
And I don't know. Have you checked the statistics if we're close per capita?
The fact of the matter is, I actually knew the answer before I asked the question, so it was rhetorical. Wisconsin, I think, wins at 13. Was it 13 barrels? It can't be that much. 1.3 barrels per capita versus like 1.1 barrels per capita.
Okay.
Now, mind you, that doesn't sound like a lot of beer, except that there are several people that don't drink. So there's a lot of that average being weighted by.
Sure, yeah. So, some of us make up for the.
Yeah. It might be 5, might be 10 barrels. It's a lot, for sure.
What's the capacity of your brewing system currently?
I have a 5-barrel brewery. A lot of times, we have 2 5-barrel fermenters and 1, 2, 3, 4 10 barrels. So anything that we're packaging, sending outside of the tap room, we do. I'll do 2 turns in a day. But what were we at? 350 last year. We're kind of holding our own this year. It's kind of been a iffy year as far as the market goes, but we're holding our own.
Yeah, for sure. What about the Czech beers? Were you at that meeting for the same reason I was, or that talk for the same reason I was, to try to capture that magic?
Well,
what makes Czech beers?
Right. I mean, you go to the Craft Brewers Conference to learn something. What can you do different? And the fact is, unless you want to brew the most authentic Czech beers, you need to do all the decocting and the right. There's all these things that.
What kind of idiot would do that? I mean, I do it on every beer, but
you do.
We've literally done an episode on it.
I do the best I can with the single infusion brewery.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And that debate's never going to end. It's spiritual. It's something that you can't quantify, I think, on some level. There may be definitely scientific means to quantify it, but at the end of the day, people are going to hang on to it because they love it so much.
Right.
The history of it, I think.
Well, and people talk about visiting Czech Republic, Germany, all these places with all this great beer. When you go on tour these places, you're just, if you're interested, you're in your nirvana and you're trying this beer, and it's all the experience of the whole thing adds to your experience of the taste and atmosphere around you.
For sure.
So,
yeah, and what I remember, not taking a whole sidetrack on the Czech thing, but that they don't have a translation for decoction mashing. Mashing just is decoction mashing.
Yeah, that's just
there's
what
no
you do.
There's no reason for that adjective. And then the other thing that strikes me about the Czechs is the presentation all the way to that glass, like none other. Even the Belgians seem not to have that level of detail that they do at the bar. Anyway, not taking on that trek, but it just seems that you're a fan of those.
That's fun, and that's I might get an opportunity to get to that area next year. So I'm looking forward to it when I do get over there.
Last year, Bobby got a Luker faucet.
Not one, but two.
Yeah, I saw them. I'm like, oh, that's...
It was for my birthday, and my daughter, they set her up to unpackage it, and it was like, I got the tower, and then I got one faucet, and I'm like, that's great. I was going to set it up in our existing tap system, and then they opened the next one up, and it's a tower, and then I realized there's 2 holes in this tower. So there was 2 of them. It blew me away. I love it so much. Also, if there's a bar fight, grab the hop cone off the top, because that thing weighs like 3 pounds, and it's easily accessible. Okay. Perfect weapon. Just throwing it out there.
I'm going to make a mental note of that, because you never know when that could come in handy.
Yeah, I mean, that it's 1 foot away from that stained glass would make Allison nervous if she knew I was.
What you talk about with decoction, we did an episode on this, and this has been a reoccurring theme of this show. We have no clue like what Bobby does to make beer. Like, we see the end product, but nobody sees. Most people who enjoy beer and even beer enthusiasts would not know what that is.
Right.
And water treatment and a whole bunch of other things that go into it that I think people that take beer and brewing seriously are going to take that extra effort to do. And that's, I think, one of the things that really separate microbreweries from larger ones. That time and commitment that goes into it to bother to do something like that really makes a difference.
Well, I'm always, especially water chemistry, it's a big, it's a lot to digest. There's a lot that goes into it, and I'm still learning more and more about it, and until I'm convinced that there's nothing more to learn, and try to learn from everybody. And it is, you can't always trust Google on such a niche, but you try to learn as much as you can.
And on the topic of water chemistry, my wife is a chemist. She's a physical chemist, and she'll find herself teaching outside of her specialist or a specialty. But she runs from water chemistry, and she is a chemist because it is incredibly complicated. But she understands a lot about the molecular forces. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at how these salts are manifest in the end product, there's so much there to it, and it is fun to come back to it. But that said, if you're getting into brewing, don't touch the water until you get everything else dialed in. It's one of the last frontiers, I think, that, in my opinion, that brewers should tackle.
Well, you definitely can overdo it. I mean, it's better to have restraint with it than to try to, once you over-season your steak, there's no going back.
Right.
Type thing. It's always better to be on the slow side, soft side of it.
And be careful trying to mimic other places' water, because they probably treat their water in their own breweries.
Well, I mean, just our own. You're on municipal water, and so are we.
Yeah.
The Mosinee has 5 wells.
Yeah.
All right. They're all different, and you never know what well they're drawing from. You get a water test periodically and try
Right.
to match it, and yeah, if you wonder why your numbers didn't work out the same as last time, well, there's only so much you can control unless you have RO and you actually start from scratch. Maybe you do, but that's
We can and we do, but we have really good base water to build off of here.
Yeah.
And 30 miles away in Oshkosh, it's really high in magnesium, calcium, so it's a different story. It varies that regionally here.
right. Well, I have to add a little bit of magnesium into mine. I hadn't been doing that until recently, and I've seen difference in the fermentation for sure.
The yeast like that on a certain level.
It's such a little amount. though.
Absolutely.
It's just like a literal pinch.
EPMs are hard to visualize. They
Right.
really are.
How many taps do you guys run?
It's there's 16 on the main line and 4 on the sideline. Now on the 4, I always do our maple root beer, and then we have a kombucha line, and the other 2 are dedicated to seltzers, our own seltzers. So 16 beer lines, 4 to the side with different stuff. So.
And is everything made in-house?
Yeah, everything. I mean, the kombucha is a BFF kombucha. We get a half dozen kegs from them. Probably go through a keg a week. Something they send their customers. That's one of their fill stations is our place. And last time she came in, she's like, well, you could put more taps over here because their customers are always looking for more. I'm like, no, just send us a variety, and whatever we have. So.
And then the follow-up question to that is, what's your best-selling beer?
In the tap room, it's our light lager, Wally's Motown Lager, and it's not on tap right now because I wanted to do some work with the water chemistry and whatnot. So we did a cream ale in its place. Similar grain bill, similar water profile, but it's just brewed with a different yeast, and people really like that. That's Schmidt Kicker. That's a name from one of the bands around by us. So I find that it's almost more important to put the right name on a beer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you don't name things the right thing,
yeah.
if it doesn't
Kiss of
interest
death.
people,
Kiss of
it
death.
kind of makes it kind of upsetting in a way.
The interesting thing is, we've talked to a lot of brewers from this area, and when I ask that question, what's your best-selling beer? It's never the same answer. Here you got 547, which is a double IPA.
Right.
We just had Cocoon on, and they said that it's a Mexican lager. Mm-hmm. We've had other places where it's like a dark red lager. You'd think that given what the public consumes, there would be some consistency. But oddly enough, you really don't see that at different breweries, that people kind of buy different things at different places.
I think it's sample size. I think that we're small breweries and we can tease out a small sample. We can tease out a small preference, a small group's preference. That's my thinking on that. Also, I think Ben's right. If you name something and brand something well and you build an entire cult around it, 547, you can do well on the marketing with it, and it sort of self-fulfills what you think it should be. That isn't to take away that it has to be good liquid. It has to be great with liquid.
Well, sure.
But the marketing's there.
I mean, outside of our brewery, that's not even close to our top seller. Anything that we distribute is our red, Imperial Red. So, I mean, that's in our brewery. We don't have one of the macro lagers.
Yep.
So that's anybody that's after all this time hasn't wet their toes in craft beer. That's what they gravitate towards.
So the follow-up question to that is, so that's your best-selling one, it's a light lager. As a brewer, do you think that is your best beer?
No.
What is your best beer, you think? Like if I come in, I'm a beer guy, what would you recommend?
Are you asking favorite or best? Because I think those are
best.
just different answers.
Well, that's being a brewer. It's it's hard to pick your favorite child. I'm really proud of our.
But everyone has a favorite.
Yeah, I was
child.
about to say.
Yeah.
Allison's here, by the way.
Well,
Hi.
I mean, this
Allison.
time of year is my favorite time of year with the Oktoberfest. Really, that's probably when we have it, that's the top seller.
So wouldn't
that's
top seller then equate to best beer?
No.
Oh.
This is back to that
And
marketing.
I
piece.
can
What about Mike?
prove that in one word.
Most tech marketing.
Hazy.
Oh, that's fair. So then I guess what's your most technical beer? Like the crowning achievement of like a challenge brew.
Oh, well, the most challenging one was probably that Half Moon Hazy, getting that dialed into where it ranks among some of the better hazies, I feel. So I mean, there's so many different theories. That's not the word I'm looking for. So many different approaches to how to get the flavors you're looking for and to hold some haze over a long period of time. That's probably, the hoppy beers. I'd rather brew malty beer every day.
Yes, for the win. I agree with this
I mean,
answer.
my druthers, that's what I drink. But I do like hops. But if, just a nice, brewing our Oktoberfest, our Hermansen is such a, dry hopping and whirlpool hopping and keeping that crap out of the heat exchanger and all that. It's like I'd rather brew nice malty beers. I like to do not wort hopping, but first wort hopping a lot.
Back to the Czech style
It's
of
just
brewing.
a nice mellow flavor.
And for the sciencey part of our listeners, that for me, what I understand about first wort hopping, that's happening when your pH is the lowest and most I guess buffered, and it expresses those hops very differently in the end product.
Yeah,
that's at least some of the philosophy I've heard from the Czech brewers.
They say if the hops steep in that 150, 160 degree, it's kind of the same theory as whirlpool hopping. If you whirlpool hop at a lower temperature, some of the oils stay in the solution. If you do that before the boil, that's
right.
It just lends itself to a mellower, but you still get the actual character of the hop.
Has it achieved the buzzword status of double dry hop though? Can we put it on a can and sell it?
What is double dry hop? Did you do twice as many hops?
Well, you're asking that.
Did you cut the amount in half?
Right.
And I mean, that's just marketing.
Marketing, yeah, exactly. Has first word hop reached that level?
I mean, double.
First wort hop. Yeah.
I had a farmer for a beer that we will be releasing next Friday that he brought me some wet Cascade hops. I'm like, can you use them? I'm like, so I was doing a pale ale.
Yeah.
Well, I was confusing my words between first wort hopping and mash hopping. I actually put those Cascade hops in the mash.
Yeah, that's different.
And man, that mash smelled good.
Yeah, that gets into that.
I want to go back to hops because you mentioned that you try to get your hops locally.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is not something I've ever heard you try to do. You'll get hops wherever you get them. And in fact, I think you're probably the first brewer we've talked to that mentioned that. Why that decision, and are you able to get the hops that you need from local growers?
Yeah, well, that's our, like a lot of, I get German-inspired Wisconsin-grown hops for my German beers. My IPAs, if you're looking at getting Citras or Mosaics, you can't grow them. They're all proprietary hops. So, that Pineapple Comet, well, that's one of the main hops is a Comet hop, which grows really well around here. And like my first wort hopping a lot of times were for just any type of maltier ale that's going to be Warrior, whatever. I just base that basically off alpha acids.
Right.
We have several malt companies in Wisconsin. Most of that grain that they malt isn't from Wisconsin. Malting those varieties grow better in Saskatchewan, right? And that there are growers in Wisconsin that have successfully figured out how to grow hops. So that's something, we try to keep things local. Some things some things you can't. That honor tradition of German styles. Try to get in the German malt, just the whole. I don't terroir of it. There's
Sure.
something a little bit different about it.
To your point, though, Gary, Wisconsin has the hop exchange. And I'm sure
Yeah,
you work-
and I got some from a place they stopped growing hops, Sunnybrook in Neilsville.
Yeah.
I got all my Comet hops from them. They had too many problems with aphids, so they said the heck with it. But yeah, I'm transitioning into getting stuff from the hop exchange, and I've always had good luck with them, and yeah, I've worked with those guys. I knew one of the sales guys back in the homebrew days.
Yeah.
Used to get a lot of hops from them. So
I think it's a good group, and I think it's going to get better. Michigan's done a great job with their version of that. There's some good hop growers in this region, and we're not the Pacific Northwest, but there's some good hop growers here, and it is worth supporting them. We do when we can. Fine Vines is one we work with a lot.
Before we wrap things up, want to give any final plugs for the Mosinee Brewing Company? Where can people find you online?
well, yeah, it's as simple as can be. Mosineebrewing.com, and I don't know if I can make a plug for a new business within our business.
Go for it.
We just released our THC soda line. It's the soda's Northern Blast by the company's called Wild Balsam. So we come out with it's a tropical citrus flavor right now. We're working on some other flavors to release, but that's kind of the newest thing in my project development is another side business. That's it's like everything, you want to diversify and try to bring things in where you can. So that's we started on that path.
And THC is definitely the next step for, I think, most brewers. Wink to Bobby.
It's definitely not the next fad, not fad.
Fad, not fad.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And where can people find you in Mosinee physically?
Mosinee, it's 401 4th Street. The easiest way, if people are on 39, they see the airport, you go west from the airport off the exit on 39 and go over. If you can get over the Wisconsin River, we're right downtown Mosinee. The only stops light on that side of the river.
That makes it pretty easy.
Yep, we're right on the corner.
All right, well, that will conclude this episode of Respecting the Beer. The producer of Respecting the Beer is David Kelso, and without David, this show would be in the void. Please remember to follow the Facebook group and to support us over on Patreon, where you can listen to the bits of the podcast that get edited out, as well as receive special beers that are available only to Patreon members. And until next time, please remember to respect the beer.